insight and growth.
In 1999, along with our friend and colleague Bruce Patton, we published Difficult Conversations: How to Discuss What Matters Most. Since then, we've continued to teach at Harvard Law School and to work with clients across continents, cultures, and industries. We've had the privilege of working with an amazing assortment of people: executives, entrepreneurs, oil rig operators, doctors, nurses, teachers, scientists, engineers, religious leaders, police officers, filmmakers, lawyers, journalists, and relief workers, even dance instructors and astronauts. Here's something we noticed early on. When we ask people to list their most difficult conversations, feedback always comes up. Doesn't matter who they are, where they are, what they do, or why they brought us in. They describe just how tough it is to give honest feedback, even when they know it's sorely needed. They tell us about performance problems that go unaddressed for years and explain that when they finally give the feedback, it rarely goes well. The coworker is upset and defensive and ends up less motivated, not more. Given how hard it is to muster the courage and energy to give feedback in the first place and the dispiriting results, well, who needs it? Eventually, someone in the group will pipe up to observe that getting feedback is often no easier. The feedback is often unfair or off base, it's poorly timed and even more poorly delivered. And it's not clear why the giver thinks they're qualified to offer an opinion. They may be the boss, but they don't really understand what we do or the constraints we're under. We're left feeling underappreciated, demotivated, and more than a little indignant. Who needs it? Interesting. When we give feedback, we notice that the receiver isn't good at receiving it. When we receive feedback, we notice that the giver isn't good at giving it. We wondered, what is it that makes feedback such a conundrum for both givers and receivers? We started listening closely to people as they described their dilemmas, struggles, and triumphs, and noticed those same struggles in ourselves. As we worked to develop ways to approach feedback differently, we soon realized that the key player is not the giver, but the receiver. And we came to see how this could transform not just how we handle performance reviews on the job, but how we learn, lead, and act in our professional roles and in our personal lives.
What counts as feedback? Feedback includes any information you get about yourself. In the broadest sense, it's how we learn about ourselves from our experiences and from other people, how we learn from life. It's your annual performance review, the firm's climate survey, the local critic's review of your restaurant. But feedback also includes the way your son's eyes light up when he spots you in the audience, and the way your friend surreptitiously slips off the sweater you knitted her the moment she thinks you're out of view. It's the steady renewal of services by a longtime client, and the lecture you get from the cop on the side of the road. It's what your bum knee is trying to tell you about your diminishing spryness, and the confusing mix of affection and disdain you get from your 15-year-old. So feedback is not just what gets ranked, it's what gets thanked, commented on, invited back, or dropped. Feedback can be formal or informal, direct or implicit. It can be blunt or baroque, totally obvious, or so subtle you're not sure what it is. Like that comment your spouse made a moment ago. I don't like the way those pants look on you. What do you mean you don't like the way these pants look on me? Is there something wrong with this particular pair of pants? Or was that a passive-aggressive reference to the weight I put on? Another dig about how I'm living in the past or can't dress myself, even as an adult? Are you just trying to help me look nice for the party? Or is this your way of easing into asking for a divorce? What do you mean I'm overreacting?
A brief history of feedback. The term feed-back was coined in the 1860s during the Industrial Revolution to describe the way that outputs of energy, momentum, or signals are returned to their point of origin in a mechanical system. By 1909, Nobel laureate Karl Braun was using the phrase to describe the coupling and loops between components of an electronic circuit. A decade later, the new compound word feedback was being used to describe the recirculating sound loop in an amplification system, that piercing squeal we all know from high school auditoriums and Jimi Hendrix recordings. Sometime after World War II, the term began to be used in industrial relations when talking about people and performance management. Feed corrective information back to the point of origin, that would be you, the employee, and voila. Tighten up here, dial back there, and